Mining is another interesting potential for Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is rich in minerals, and mining has been hailed as the potential third pillar of the economy, the first being oil and gas, and the second being petrochemicals. Mining is dominated by the Saudi Arabian mining company, better known as Ma'aden. It was set up in 1997, but one of their mines have been in operation since 1988. The company went public in 2007, but similar to SABIC, the government still owns the majority. In this case, it's slightly above 50%. In the previous section, I talked about how Saudi Arabia has opened up the economy for foreign investors and how, for instance, SAGIA has changed many rules. One of these rules was a new mining law in 2004. It allowed for greater access of foreign companies through joint ventures with Ma'aden or other local companies. Traditionally, gold has been the main mining focus in Saudi Arabia. Ma'aden currently operates 5 gold mines in Saudi Arabia and have 5 advanced exploration projects. Some of these projects include other minerals, for instance silver, but they're predominantly gold mines. I'm just going to briefly talk you through the 5 existing Ma'aden projects, or mines or project, whatever you want to call them. Ma'aden ad-Dahab is located in the western province in Saudi Arabia, which is known as the Hejaz. Roughly 280 kilometers from Jeddah. They have dug 50 kilometers of tunneling, and 2.7 megatons of ore has been extracted on an average grade of 21.89 grams per ton. That is a high grade gold mine. The Shukabarat site is located in Al Madina province, about 250 kilometers north of Ma'aden ad-Dahab. Shukabarat now comprises a carbon and leach processing plant only. The Shukabarat plant is planned to continue operations until 2014. The mine has been operated by a Saudi company for precious metals, which is a subsidiary of Ma'aden. The Bulaga is situated in Al Madina province, about 65 kilometers south of the Shukabarat processing plant. It comprises an open pit mine, which mines lower grade ore for processing at the Bulag heap leach processing facility, and higher grade ore for processing at the Shukabarat processing facility. The average grade is around 1.05 grams per ton. Al Jihar is located in central Saudi Arabia, 210 kilometers west of Riyadh. It comprises an open cut mine and the Al Jihar heap leach facility, which is currently reprocessing previously stacked and leached materials. The Al Amar gold deposit is west of Riyadh off the Jeddah Riyadh main road. There are significant resources of gold, silver, zinc, and copper. So much for existing projects. Now let's talk about the future project. Ma'aden is establishing the mining city or mineral city called Ras Al Sahur and a couple other names, which was explained in section 3 or introduced in section 3. One of the things which are going to be developed there is phosphate. Phosphate will be mined at the Al Jalamaid deposit, which is able to produce more than 5 megatons of phosphate per year. This will then be transported by rail to the mineral city, where it will be used to produce around 3 megatons per year of DAP fertilizer or diammonium. It would also comprise a phosphoric acid plant capable of producing 1.3 megatons of sulfuric acid. An ammonia plant is also planned. Saudi Arabia also has significant bauxite deposits. It is estimated that the region between Qasim and Hale holds over 200 megatons of bauxite. Tests conducted in Australia have confirmed that the grading is 57.3% of aluminum oxide and 8.2% of silicon dioxide. Bauxite is one of the raw materials needed to produce aluminium. What Ma'aden plan to do is transport the bauxite also to Mineral City, where they, together with Alcoa, are developing a smelter and a rolling mill. The breakdown is such as Ma'aden owns 74.9% of the project. They will also be cooperating on developing the bauxite mine in Al Baita. Again, I apologize for my poor Arabic pronunciation. I can say they recently broke ground on the rolling mill in Mineral City. Also recently they signed a finance agreement with the Saudi Public Investment Fund worth roughly $1 billion. I find it quite interesting to use Mineral City and this whole project as an example for development in Saudi Arabia because it includes so many elements from other parts of my presentation. For instance, Ma'aden will then use the North-South Railroad, which will be discussed in the transport section, to transport the phosphate and bauxite to the mineral city. There it will be shipped, it will be processed in part of a joint venture with an international company, and eventually it will be exported through the new port they're building there, and this will all be a highly specialized industrial city. Of course, aluminum production is growing all over the GCC countries, notably in Qatar and Oman. Recently, the 2011 Arab International Aluminum or Arabal conference was held. I'm taking a few quotes from that one. Tom Peter Johansen, which is CEO of Qatalum. Qatalum is a large aluminium plant owned by Norwegian Hydro, or it's a joint venture, but it's predominantly owned by Norwegian Hydro. It is in Qatar. He said, "The Gulf is seen as the fastest growing and most important production region in the world for aluminium, and we are proud to be able to demonstrate the growing importance of Qatar's growing aluminium sector, not only at this year's conference, but also as host of Arabal 2012. Another quote, "The Middle East is well on its way to becoming the world's leading primary aluminium producer." That was from, according to the chief executive of Rio Tinto Alcan. She also said that the Middle East features prominently in global giant Rio Tinto's Alcan Futures plans. Other interesting minerals. Saudi has sizable deposit of ore, or iron ore. Most interesting in that respect is what is happening in the Wadi Sawin part of the Tabuk province, that is in the northwest of the country. Saudi Arabia's Al Sharif Group, a UK-based mine developer, London Mining, are establishing a mine with 125 million tons of commercial reserves. Korean SDX Heavy Industries recently signed a $2 billion contract to build and run all the necessary industrial facilities and the mine. I'm talking there about the mine itself, the processing plant for the ore, pelletization, power plant, desalination plant. Basically, the works is being built by the Koreans. Note that this was an example that did not include Ma'aden. As I said, the new mining law of 2004 allowed foreign companies to set up joint ventures with any Saudi company. Another example, the Al Masan Al Kubar Mining Company, or AMAC. It's a joint venture between Arabian American Development and a group of Saudi investors. They recently finished the construction phase of their mine in the Narjan province. Most of the work is done, but of course there's a lot of things above ground that has to be done. Commercial production is planned to start in the second quarter of 2012. Estimated production will be 50,000 tons of zinc, 34,000 tons of copper, 370,000 ounces of silver, and 7,600 ounces of gold per year. Give you one last example. Australian Citadel Resource Group, through a joint venture company called Barrick Mining, owns a copper project in western Saudi Arabia called Jabal Sayid that it plans to develop. Jabal Sayid has ore reserves of about 24.4 million tons with a grade of 2.2% of copper. Over the next 10 years, the project should produce 57,000 tons of copper concentrate per year, according to the CEO. Now, there are other possible minerals, which I will not discuss in detail here in Saudi Arabia. For instance, magnesite, tantalum, gypsum, and marble. That concludes this section. Thank you for listening, and please follow us in section 5, which is titled Domestic Energy Production and Consumption. Thank you.